Okay, and so where is this person?
Is he out there?
He's out there somewhere. All you got to do is want it. Your hand says you can have anybody you want, go anywhere you want, get any job you want. All you got to do is say, self, I want it. You're one of those people gets it. So you just haven't said, I want it yet. Okay? So let me look again. Now I'm going to look with the crystal, with the magnifier. And it says that you're one of the few people, now 1 in 100,000 people has a soulmate who marches to the same drummer's beat you do, and that's what you have. I told you that when I read you. So 1 in a million people gets married the first time, makes it with their mate, and there's some of them here today that I'll be talking to who did it once 30, 40 years ago, and they're still with the same person, and that's real rare. My parents were married 52 years. That's very rare. Her hand says she didn't do it the first time. Second time is somebody who marches just right alongside and marches to the same drummer's beat you do. So that's pretty neat. Now, in order to get that person, you heard you have homework. You heard me tell somebody else, you have to do whatever it is to put yourself in harm's way. You have to risk a little in order to gain. You all know that. So you have to go to a movie alone. It's not any fun. You have to go to a restaurant alone. It's not any fun. But if you go with a girlfriend, the wrong type is going to approach you, or people who hang out in bars approach you, or people who aren't of quality. And we don't care about that. You've already been there. Now we want somebody who's really terrific, who's really hurting just as much as you are for a mate that wants to connect with somebody that they get along with. So when you meet the person who is slender built, who is full of heart, full of compassion, full of all the stuff you want and need, and they have it too, it's like a match set. Now there's a match set sitting over here. I have 3 couples that are going to be coming up, and they are all match sets. So you're going to end up looking like one of those match sets when the time comes. You're going to end up with somebody who you sit next to. If I took your picture, I'd say, God, what a cute looking couple. Okay?
Okay.
So all you have to do is what? Say, I want it.
I want it.
That's it. Thank you very much for coming. And Chris does channeling, and she goes into like a trance or something. She doesn't know what she's saying at the time. She's almost semi-asleep when you say that. And Bob interprets when it's over. So he says, I don't know how to tell you this, but I see a box with your head in it. So I said, what's that mean? I don't get it. He goes, I don't know either, but I think it's a TV set. So that was 5 years ago. That's for you. This show is a dream that I've had for many, many years. I'm a palm reader. I've been doing it over 50 years. And when I do anybody's hand, I always look at the love line and the romance line, and I make some people cry, and some people get so happy they can't stand themselves. And sometimes I'm right and sometimes not, but I'm almost always 90 to 95% pretty sure when I say something or I don't say it. So I have something I want to share with everybody. This is my book, and it's called May I See Your Hand. And I wrote that because I've been looking for the book I learned in when I was 10 years old, and I couldn't find that book. Well, last summer I met a man who said, you know, I have a book at home. Sounds just like you. He reads the same way you do. And I said, you're kidding. Is it brown? He goes, yeah, it's about this long, an oblong-shaped, funny-shaped book. Has a hand right in the middle. And I said, does it dent in? He goes, how'd you know that? That's the book I learned from. So that man traded me a copy of my book for his book. His book was written in 1897, so you all know that's an antique to begin with. Besides that, it was signed. So to me, it's worth $1 million because it validates everything I learned. That's the book I learned on. I've been looking all these years in bookstores, antique stores, libraries. I could never find that book. So when I have it now, it's falling apart. It's in a plastic bag. Half the pages are ripped. It's really old, but I'm preserving it because it's me. This is Linda Stambaugh, and she's a friend of mine, just did the Rocky Mountain Book Festival with me. And then we've also known each other. I did a reading for her, and she says, I wrote a book. And I said, well, I did too. So she said, I'll give you mine if you give me yours. So we traded. So I want you to hold that up. And the name of the book is called How to Flirt. It's a really cute book. And this is a show about romance and love, and I thought, what better place than for her to bring her book and show it. Well, here's the thing. She's also got 2 other books that you've written, and she has degrees, and tell them what you do.
Well, I'm right now going into real estate school, so I'm making a big career change right now. I've done a lot of different things. Being a teaching adult education classes was a priority of mine, and that's how the books evolved. And it wasn't a career kind of goal, but it was one that has really enhanced my life a lot. And
you meet interesting people.
Very fascinating people. It's just been a nice diversion for me.
Okay, and then, so we traded books, and she says, I write a column for a newspaper called Singles Network News, or newspaper. So I said, really? She said, yeah, they call it Dear Linda.
Yeah.
Isn't that right? So now I write for that paper too. So mine's Dear Myrna Lou. But anyway, so she writes her article, people write her romance questions, and she answers them. So that's pretty neat too.
Yeah,
so now Linda's divorced. And tell me what you're looking for in a person.
Well, I don't know. I think I feel soulmates, if there is going to be one, it's not something that we have to look for. I think it's going to happen. I think the universe plans it that way. I don't think that I'm going to be able to predict what he's going to be or what it's going to look like. Or,
well, but it's timing.
Right,
You see, timing is everything.
Yeah.
And timing means you have to be at the right place at the right time, and the other person, it could have been at the Rocky Mountain Book Festival, and somebody could have walked right up to you and said, God, I know you. And then maybe they didn't know you, but from another lifetime they remembered you.
Well, in my classes I teach people that I've never known anyone who met someone between the television and the refrigerator. You have to get out there and try to make yourself available. I mean, they're not going to knock on your door and say, here I am, but you have to make yourself available.
So tell me, what is it that you're looking for?
Oh, I guess priorities would be sensitivity, intelligence, sense of humor, stable.
Those are all big,
freedom.
good qualities, right? To give you your freedom to be you, but they have their freedom to do what they want also. That's the thing. Okay, so we all have a soulmate out there that we're supposed to connect with.
Mm-hmm.
So I've only been here one other time. I want to see how many times you've been. Oh, you've been here quite a few. You're not just brand new.
Am I getting it right this time?
1, 2, 3, 4. You've been here 7 times, and you get it right this time.
Okay.
So let's say that Linda was a 3-year-old little boy in another lifetime, lived next door to another 3-year-old little boy right here. They both became 80 years old, stayed in that same house with the grandchildren, the children. The day before one of them died, they had a terrible, bitter argument. She comes into this lifetime, she's looking for that 3-year-old little kid's energy so she can match with that energy, and the two of them can be together so that they can have, so that they work out what the big fight was about when they were 80. Or let's say she was a 3-year-old little girl and she fell out of a rowboat and drowned. Okay, this lifetime she comes back, she had to be a lifeguard. It was just a big thing because you have to learn the thing about water, about safety, and don't play near water when you're 3 years old. Well, I don't understand reincarnation. I'm the first one to admit that right off the bat. I maybe can get 1 or 2 out of 5 or 6 lives right, but I can't get them all because I never studied that. But I can tell how many, so she's 700 years old. So thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
But here's a soulmate couple. You can look at that and see. And so let me see your hand, and you're right-handed. So the first thing I'm looking at, and I know that he had the soulmate mark over there. I checked it, and it's there big time, and it's that slot right there. Right. You weren't in the room when I showed people. Stick your baby finger in there from your other hand. So you're going to go like that. Mm-hmm. Okay, and let me see yours. Right hand. Big time. Yours is huge with an X in it. Now, X's mean good luck, and there's an X right on her soulmate mark. So here's the thing. If 2 people both have it, wonderful. It only takes 1 of a couple to have it to make it a connection. So they both have the same mark, but hers is way more intense. His is just laid back, normal, regular, and it's okay. And hers is way stronger, but they have the same thing, and it does blend. So I'd like you to tell how you met.
Well, it was really through work. We were working at a country club, and we were both in other relationships that were not so healthy and happy. And I met him and just thought the world of him immediately.
Well, soulmates feel it immediately. That's how you know.
Right. And
5 minutes in the same room with somebody, and your system goes, ha! That's it, that's it. And it's like light up like a Christmas tree. You can't help it.
Right. So when the opportunity really arose,
When you both got out of your
free,
relationships.
yes, we knew immediately that
So
we
you
would be
started
married
dating.
forever. Yes, absolutely. He told me he loved me on the first day. Of course, we'd known each other for years and been friends for years.
The basis is friendships, honesty, trust, respect. Those are all sort of the same things. Then on top of that, you have to have spontaneity, affection, and then you can have love. So you had the friendship first,
Yes.
and then you worked it into other things. So now where do you think you're going?
Wherever life takes us.
Forever.
Together.
Absolutely.
Together forever is
partners
what-
forever.
That's what I want to
My best
hear.
friend, yeah.
Well, I was living with my sister and had gotten out of a rather difficult relationship. And my sister kept saying, you should take your dry cleaning up to this dry cleaners that I go to, and I resisted it for a long time. Finally, I said, okay, I'll stop by there one day, and I did, and the manager came running out, and then what happened?
I asked for your name and phone number.
The manager already wanted the phone number. That's pretty good.
Right,
He
right.
already liked your
Strictly
looks.
business.
Yeah. Well, and then I stopped going to the dry cleaners, and my sister continued, and she said, you know, the manager keeps asking about you.
Oh, yeah.
And I couldn't figure out why, and 2 or 3 months went by, and then I went back in, and he said, he was looking down at the ticket, the dry cleaning ticket, and he didn't look up, and he said, would you and your sister like to go out for a drink sometime?
Oh, and he...
and he didn't look up, and I said, yeah, that would be nice. And so
Oh,
my
my
sister
God.
didn't go, but
No.
the rest is
But that's
But I
what,
had
how
to
he...
hide behind the sister.
Yeah, but you also hid behind the dry cleaning
Yeah.
ticket.
Yeah.
So what it means is that was meant to happen. You see, when something's meant to happen, it happens. He had the phone number, but he didn't call her. He waited till she came in one more time, and then he popped the question, you want to go out? Then from then, it was just smooth sailing, right? But this is a match made in heaven. And I don't say that about everybody. And I don't say that it's perfect, but it's pretty good. And it's pretty exciting, yeah. So I want them to tell you now. So when you first met, what happened?
When I called Linda up on the phone, I mean, immediately her voice, it was like, you know, I keyed off on her voice, and then so we set up a time, and it was like 2 or 3 days later, so I came up to Denver, and when she opened that door and I saw her eyes, it was just like a immediate
Home.
connection.
You like you were home.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And so we went out to eat and started talking, and at 3:30 in the morning we were still talking.
And that's what a soulmate does. When it's your system connecting with somebody else, it's like, whoo, and you don't want to leave, and you just keep making it longer and longer and longer because you spread it out. And that's what they did. They made that date last about 10 hours. So now you could tell your take on it.
Well, Myrna, I remember when you told me back in the fall that when I was ready to meet my soulmate, I would find him, but not until I was ready. And
Yeah, it took till after
I remember
Christmas.
when you told me at that class to, when I was ready, I would cry out. And so that night after the class, I went home and I was really lonely. I'd been alone for about 8 years, raising my kids by myself and putting all my efforts into my career. And all of a sudden, I thought, I really want a partner now. So I cried out, soulmate, come to me, I need you.
That's what I tell people to say, the exact words.
And I heard this little voice in my head say, I'm here, I'm coming. And it was a week later, I
Just got the chills. I just got the chills, so that's wonderful.